Lighting's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Shirt's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Morning, guys. Friday at 8:30. Shortened week. You know what? Even a shortened week has action. Okay, and we got a lot of intangibles going on this week. We roll off on Monday, and this whole week was actually a Chinese New Year. So you take a lot of the big players in the market that don't trade. And this is big when it comes to the commodity side, especially in the metal side. We talked about this last week. Talk about anticipation of this week. That at nighttime, there's always been that big support of any kind of a washout in gold and silver, platinum, or palladium. So we were anticipating maybe one of those nights to try lower, just to see, because it would be empty down there. And what happened all week? It didn't go lower. Okay, so we've been waiting for this, and we said last week, we made a video, we said the market not moving is good information because it should have tried a couple of times, in my opinion. So I think now, next week, when China comes back from the new year, actually I think that's pretty encouraging, because they're going to be looking to buy. They haven't been able to buy for a week. And what's the first thing I think they're going to buy is silver. Okay, we've been talking about this all week. And I just tell you what I'm doing. I had orders in all week. If silver broke this area, which has had a couple of chances, I was looking to buy more. I still have my silver that I grabbed down here. I don't plan on selling it. I want to see what happens next week going into March delivery. But the fact that we couldn't pull back makes me think next week silver's going to move. Now listen, from here to here to here, you got to take that out of your trading style, okay? Because that's a blow up, okay? But I do think silver's recalibrating from here to here. So you're still talking about 70 to 100. Seriously, guys, silver's been a $30 commodity, a $20 commodity for decades, a $20 commodity for a century. So now you got a $30 range. Nothing wrong with this, because actually this is what we like. This is when I could hopefully recognize little opportunities. And I think the opportunity here is silver going up next week. Gold, you hear nothing about gold. It's been quiet. It looks like it's pulling back. Okay, gold's pulling back. That is very quiet, right? Where's it quiet? With a $5,000 handle. $5,000 gold. Okay, what's gold been doing the whole way up? Sits and then goes. Sits and then goes. Sits and then goes. And we think the same thing. It's just a little crazier because it got a little volatile because you start breaking seams. But we think it's sitting, and we think it's going to go again. So that's our opinion in metals. Curveball this week, the oil market. Okay, a little friction around. Okay, in Iran, ships setting up, people anticipating more conflict coming up this weekend. But oil was doing that when it was in the 50s. Now oil is doing it in the 60s. And the fundamentals and the spreads and one of the products in the oil sector has pretty much blown up on the upside. So now you might, instead of being in 55 to 65 range, you might be a 60 to 70 range. We think that it's repriced up here. And what's been squeezing people out has been heating oil. Okay, look at this move. Can't even go up here. That's how high it is. Okay, now this is March heating oil market. That you get to a certain time of the year where you take a barrel and you decide you're going to make heating oil or you're going to make gasoline. So as we're into February, you're looking at March and April, you're not paying attention to heating oil to keep yourself warm. You'd rather take the oil and start making gasoline because people are going to be on the road. But now if you fall behind, or if the market's leaning the wrong way, which heating oil is now, where are you going to get this heating oil? I mean, the changeover is already being made where you're making gasoline, so you can't go back and make heating oil. So these people are caught. So that, plus you got the Iran conflict, which is potential. So how do you go home short this weekend? Short oil, short heating oil. It's a little tough because you don't know what's going to happen. What's been happening the last few times is you get the anticipation, nothing happens or this isn't as drastic, the market comes right off. So we'll know next week. But in the interim, how do you go home short heating oil in something that's moving like this? So it's holding the whole market up. So that's caught a little off guard. Another thing that we've been putting on, and I've been telling you this for a while, and it's been working okay, is natural gas. And I think natural gas got to the spot again. Okay? Remember a couple of weeks ago, we said this was a curveball in natural gas. Caught a beautiful move. I haven't seen this one in years, a curveball like this. The whole group, I think we caught it. Okay, and then we waited, and then we're getting in right around here. So we got some natural gas on here. I'm still looking to buy another piece because I still think natural gas is in a very attractive area. I still think the sensitive side is the upside. So what did I do this week? I put more futures on. I put some UNG on. Okay, so I'm back into natural gas. One thing that we've talked about for the last, say, 3 or 4 weeks, we thought the sector, well, actually since the beginning of the year, what sector of commodities, because we like the commodity sector, is underpriced or great value? The grain market. We've been talking about that for a while. If you've been following us, you know, soybeans came out with a little news. The president said him and China had a tentative deal. Soybeans snapped up. In our opinion is the wheat market was next. Okay, we talked about wheat being next, how to digest the reweighting. Anything bullish or anything not bearish is going to make the wheat market move because we like grains. Well, talked about it. There you go. Here's wheat. There goes wheat. Okay, that's one grade of wheat, another grade of wheat, Kansas City wheat. Same thing. They're starting to go. And we think, and if you go back and watch some of our videos or remember what I've been saying, I don't have to go back and watch the videos. I'm going to tell you again. The wheat market, wherever you think wheat market is going to go, it's going more. Okay, I've been through this, doing this thing for decades. And every time I try to find my areas, this is a good area, it goes through it. Every time I try to buy this is a good area, it goes through it. And if wheat does this again and it's digesting what I think is the reweighting that happened about a month ago, then it's out of balance. So out of balance tells me this thing has got room on the upside. So watch yourself in wheat. If you have it on, I actually think normally you'd be trading it right here. Okay, and it makes a lot of sense for it to breathe. In my opinion is if it breathes a little and then tries again, the next one's going to cause what you see this red line? I think that could happen in the wheat market. So that's grains. Stocks. We're trading around stocks. Okay, what do we do in the last couple of weeks on this pullback? We bought silver stocks, we bought some gold stocks, and now they're starting to bounce. Now you start to trade a couple. You keep the ones you like, you trade the ones that you want to trade. We have Pan American Silver on. We put it on. Great areas. Okay, we waited for this pullback. If you belong to the group, you know we grabbed it here, grabbed it here. Yesterday got up to here. Because we have other ones on, that's when you want to sell. I think it's going higher, but you want to navigate some of your positions. So we traded Pan American. In the interim, what else did we accumulate on this pullback? Bought some Heckler. Now Heckler we think is going to get ready to go. Our favorite, which I think everyone's favorite because we get the question every week, EXK. We put that on this week also. Let me just find it. EXK. EXK. So we have this one on, and I think this one's going to go too. And we grabbed it at good levels. We had our spots. We waited for our areas. We grabbed it right here, 10 and a half or 11, somewhere around here. Okay, and we think this one's going to go. So you navigate the ones you want to navigate. You keep the ones you have on. I still got my silver futures that I bought how many Thursdays ago at that $65 area. I had said it when I bought it. I'm going to hold this one into delivery. I want to see what happens. I still think the silver market with Asia coming back next week, the end of the month. You also have First Notice Day in silver. This is all the plumbing of silver. You could have something crazy happen. And if it's crazy, it's not going to be on the downside. It's going to be on the upside. So I'm going to hold it and see what happens. So that's how, if you have patience and you wait, you get everything coming to you. So that's metals. Talked about oil. Talked about grains. Talk about more stocks. But let's get some questions done first.
All right, Joe. Let's start off with Gojo is asking about NGG.
NGG? I don't know what NGG is. I'm not sure what NGG is.
Yeah, it might be a natural gas reference. MSB wants to know about cocoa.
Cocoa. Yeah, cocoa is, man, I've been so wrong on cocoa. Okay, I thought cocoa got to an area where it would extend and turn. Okay, well, I'm going to show you. It got to the area and where I thought it would extend and turn. The only that turn is, I think, my insides, because I didn't think it was going to go this far down. And now you're in an area where it's forced liquidation or accelerated liquidation. So every bottom you're picking, it still needs a turn. Okay, so this is hurting. Okay, because You know, we traded around cocoa and we're doing okay in this, not this time. So we got it in here. What we need here is, there's no reason to just keep grabbing. You don't just keep doubling up. Okay, that's how you destroy your year in a month. But you wait for the turn. So if I see a turn where I say you get 2 days in a row, then I think it could turn. But I'm not going to just keep adding and adding, because if it's forced liquidation, it could go anywhere, and then it forces your hand. Okay, I've been wrong on this. If there's a turn, then maybe I'll look at it again. Maybe I will add if I see the turn in, but I'm not going to add while it's still free falling.
All right, Joe, how about sugar?
Sugar, I think, is turned. I think sugar is fine. Okay, we've had sugar on. We said it would take a few weeks, and I think it's going to start. I think it's starting now. Okay, I think this is what you want to see in sugar. Okay, you needed this. We needed this, and the plan is it's not going to go to here. We think there's more. I think there's a lot more in sugar. Okay, so I have my sugar position on. I've been trying to navigate around it. As you get Marches off the board, which is the end of next week, then you start looking at May sugar, which is cheaper. It's backwardated. Okay, but sugar is not really a backwardation. It's not fundamentally sound because it's a lot of locations. But I think sugar it's gone through the bottom, and I think sugar is going to start to work its way higher. The trade is here. If you did all your work here, don't let it go here, because I think there's more.
Okay, Joe, can you talk to Andrew about rig?
Rig, yeah, something that was very good to us for 2 years. We don't have it on now. We're waiting for a pullback, but if you have it on, I think you want to hold on to it. Okay, this has got room on the upside. If you remember us between 2 and 3, this is one of our largest positions. We sold it out between 4 and 5. Okay, and we haven't had it on since. I think rig looks fantastic. Okay, if you get a pullback to maybe around 4.5 or 5, which it looks far away right now, then I'll look at it again. But if you have it on, you should enjoy this ride, because this has a lot of upside.
All right, BitDo is asking about Uber.
Uber's one of the plays we like a lot. Okay, so very few that we buy stock and buy calls. When I say we, I'm referring to myself. So I have Uber stock on and I have Uber calls. I'm good for another week. I think it's putting in the work right here. This is constructive. What I would like, what you want to see in something like this is you want to see pullbacks, but they're shallow. Okay, they're down and they turn fast. And they're the first ones to turn if the market bounces. If it is, then I think we got this Uber. It'd be nice if it happens in the next week, because we got some calls that are out of the money. They're out of the money calls, but we have some stock on. I think Uber did its work. What we like to see is, even on a pullback, we need it to be shallow. Then I think we're going to move fast.
All right, Greg from YouTube is asking about Lyft.
Lyft, same thing. Okay, now Lyft we had on. They had earnings that were bad. It's kind of a lagger, and if that bounces, I'd rather, because they're the same, Uber and Lyft, in my opinion. If Uber bounces and Lyft bounces, I'm going to sell out of my Lyft. Okay, because I've been wrong on Lyft. I didn't think it would sit down here. But if it does turn, it's got room. It's just got to get above this area. But if it does bounce, I'm going to be out of it.
All right, Mike wants to know about SMCI.
SMCI, I haven't looked at it in the last week or two. You know what? It was something to trade around. Okay, it's kind of popped a little and then pulled back a little. I don't see enough that jumps out to make me want to put my money on the line anymore.
All right, Joe, can you did you do Heckler already?
Heckler, we talked about it. Yes, we have Heckler on. Okay, like I said, we trade around Pan American. I think Heckler's got room on the upside here. Okay, it's doing its work. The same thing that Silver's doing its work. And next week you have Asia coming back. I think that's an edge. So we think Heckler's got room on the upside here.
All right, Lucky Dog wants to talk about NAK.
NAK. Okay, this is one of those little lottery tickets that we have on. If you belong to the group, I explain why. I'm not going to explain it on here. Okay, we caught this a couple of times, making 40, 50 cents. They had some litigation come out. The market's lower. If you want to know the way we're looking to trade around it, you got to belong to the group.
All right. So then Jack wants to know about SBSW.
SBSW, we don't have it on. We're looking for a pullback to get back in. Okay, that was a home run trade twice last year. We like platinum. We like palladium. We like SBSW. Okay, but we're waiting for a spot. I have spots here that I'm looking to put SBSW back on. Okay, think about it. If you follow the group, this was a home run twice for us, 2.5 times. We caught it twice full, and then we caught a half one. We didn't have it up here, and look how it's pulled back quickly. We have areas that we're looking to get right back into SBSW.
All right. User 63 wants to know about Valley.
Valley's, that's in our opinion, the best base metal stock you could have. Okay, we've had this thing on for 3 years. Okay, we've cashed it. We would get back in, but the same thing, we're waiting for a pullback. We've had Valley on. If you remember, all we kept saying was our largest position. Our largest position. I think we said it a few times. It's our largest position, and then we caught it. Okay, we didn't have it up here. Okay, but as you can see, that's a little bit of short-lived. It's trying lower. If it pulls back to areas that we like, we're getting right back into value. Okay, down here you're getting they're paying you 10% dividend to be long this, to be long base metals, to be long a good company. It's like you got to be kidding. It's 3 for 3, but we want to be in odd areas.
Joe, do you do LIMN?
LIMN. I don't know what it is, so I don't do it.
That's Patrick over on YouTube. Greg also on YouTube wants to know about platinum, one of your favorites.
Platinum, we like platinum. We wait for platinum. Okay, we like platinum a lot. We like platinum and palladium a lot. Okay, and it did have the pullbacks. This is that night when silver and everything went lower. You know, that spook with the Bitcoin. So platinum went to a great area. We traded that a few times. Now it's doing work. I like, you know, I'm trying to wait to see if I get a shot to buy it down here again as we get into next week, and we don't get that shot. I won't have a problem buying it here. Well, I was waiting for this because I think platinum is going to go higher. I think platinum is going to be one of the leaders for the rest of the year as far as precious metals.
Dan DiCarlo wants you to talk about uranium, Joe.
Uranium, you know, we try to avoid uranium when that's all you hear about, because it's got to be the flavor of the month, and it gets crowded fast. People get all hyped up, get me in, get me in, get me in. Then the music stops and it pulls back. Well, now it's pulling back, and it's pulling back strong. Okay, where it's not looking weak on the pullback, it just looks like a pullback. So I am looking at uranium stocks. I'm looking at UUUU. I'm looking at DNN. I'm looking at UEC. But this is the one I like the most. See how you got that nice pullback here? See how, look, guys, I just want to give you an example because I got another example. See how people get interested, and then they get in, they get me in, and what happens? Okay, they get interested, get me in, look what happens. Okay, so there's a shot that it could do this again. So that's why I'm being careful. But if it doesn't do this soon, then I think this is a good area. So I like uranium. I just don't want to get caught in these traps. I like uranium, but I like uranium at my areas.
All right, Joe, not one of your favorites, but RPH Mike wants you to talk about crypto.
Crypto.
Not one of your favorites.
Not one of my favorites because I'm not a fan of crypto because it gets too hyped. And then everybody is, you know, like they say, they're drinking the same Kool-Aid, they're reading the same stories. And then what happens when it doesn't work and it gets caught? And now, you know, we've been bearish on MSTR for, I don't know, got to be 6 to 9 months. We think it's a good gauge for Bitcoin. Now Bitcoin's in the 60s. I actually think, I'm not going to put my money on the line, but I actually think crypto down here is a little buoyant. And I actually think it could bounce from here, but not enough for me to buy it. I look at them. I watch MSTR, I watch Riot, I watch Mara. They're all in attractive areas right now.
All right. Joe, I hate to do this to you, but we got some latecomers.
Yeah.
They're begging you to talk about silver again.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. You know what? I don't mind. I think every other video we make, every other thing we talk about is definitely the hot word on the planet is silver. So, you know, in my opinion, silver's kind of, I never say it in the wrong way, but I've been through everything in silver since the mid-'80s. So there's going to be very few people who have the experience I got in silver. I got experience in making money, and I got a lot more experience in losing money. Okay? So I've seen everything in silver. So if you want to talk about silver, you pick the right person. I'm going to tell you something. Okay? This is a long time ago. In the 1980, the Hunt brothers cornered the silver market. Okay? And they did something which made a lot of sense. And then one day, where I was working, okay, one of the Hunt brothers was visiting. And, you know, we're in a giant commodity area, you know, Goldman Sachs. And one of the Hunt brothers goes, "Where's the metals area?" And they pointed it out, and he goes, "Is anyone there trade silver?" And they'll go, "It's Joe. Joe's the guy for silver." He sat next to me, some, you know, decades ago, and we were talking about silver. I'm gonna tell you something. It's kind of like sitting next to. I'm not a Yankee fan, but if you're sitting next to like Mickey Mantle, you want to talk to Mickey Mantle? Well, that was Mickey Mantle, and we went over stuff, and you know. So as far as silver experience, he actually said that to me, which made me feel good. He said, "Boy, you understand the silver market a lot better than most people." And I said, "Well, you know why I understand it? Because every time I lost money, I figured out why I lost money." He said, "That's exactly right." But this is what we think about silver. We think silver had a whole week to try this $70 area. And we had a couple of chances, and I was ready every night. You can see in my eyes, I look like an old man because I keep waiting. We grabbed it down here 2 Thursdays ago, and we were waiting to buy more, and it didn't. And this is in a market where there would have been no underlying support because the Asian time zone was celebrating Chinese New Year, and it didn't go down there. So no movement, in my opinion, is bullish. So I think silver next week when they come back, they're natural buyers of silver. They've been natural buyers of silver for the whole way. So I think silver's going to work its way higher next week.
All right, Joe, over on YouTube, they're asking about LAC.
LAC is something we like, lithium, but at our areas. So we did buy LAC at our area. See if I can find it here. Right at the bottom. Okay. I got LAC on right here. Okay. Not up here like everybody gets caught. Not up here when everybody gets caught. Or right here. Okay. I waited for my area. This way, you know what? If these people are caught, and you see how they got to blow out, and they're caught and they got to blow out, they're blowing out because they're long from here. I don't have to blow out because I'm long from here. So, you know, I could actually I'm still on offense in LAC. I like LAC, but I like it in this area. Okay. If I'm long LAC from up here, I'm 50-50. From down here, I like this because I still think the sensitive side is up.
All right, Joe. You know me. I got to take a moment, a 60-second Dr. Phil break.
Yeah,
we had a handful of trolls this morning making some really nasty comments.
Good. What are they gonna say?
Well, you know, it's the usual stuff, whatever. But the reason I take this opportunity is I want to thank everyone in the chat room on TikTok. I think by making your comments back at the trolls, I think you scared them away because they're all gone. I saw like 5 of them this morning. Nasty comments, baby boomer, old man, stupid ass, all that stuff.
Okay,
guy loses money. Yeah, but I mean, you know.
Old man, baby boomer.
I want to.
Stupid ass. Okay, you're 3 for 3.
I want to thank everyone in the chat room. Seriously, you guys who are loyal watchers. You scared the trolls away. Which
let them come.
Yeah.
Let them come. We have nothing to hide, and now I do say we when it comes to that. We have nothing to hide. Okay, anything they want to ask us, we're very transparent. So if you know, we always say, if you want to make a criticism, back it up. And if it's something I did wrong, I'm here. I'm never going to shy away from a question. But thank you.
Well, Joey, it was just great. It was seriously, in the Dr. Phil sense, it was heartwarming to watch all your folks standing up for you. Five trolls. I think all of them are gone. Anyway, Joe, can we go look at your books, because that's what some of the trolls were wondering.
Yeah, wow.
This guy says he buys low.
Okay.
He's lying. Blah blah blah. You know the stories. You know the stories.
All right, where are we? This is, you know what we did last year? We don't show that anymore, okay? You know, but if you follow us, you know how we did last year. We had an unconscious year, up over 300%. It's fine, it's in the memory. This year, this is where we stand, okay? Now this shows 46%. That's because these are what the trades that are closed. We're not at 46%, okay? We're closer to around 10%. Okay, we've had some commodities on that have taken away our P&L, not equities. Equities will grow about 15 to 20% for the year so far. When you know, this is a combination, but that's where we stand for the year. And I'm gonna tell you something. I still have it on. Poorly traded cocoa, and probably lost too much in coffee too. That's taken away the P&L. But if you look at all the other trades, this is the same style that we did over the last couple of years. We stick to what we know: commodities, resources. If we don't trade futures, we'll try to find equities that'll give you the same exposure. It's right here. Mosaic, a way of trading grains. PLG, a platinum, wheat futures, natural gas. I'm not making this up. Look at these things. How come this thing didn't work? Am I doing something wrong?
I don't know. What do you?
I don't know what I'm doing.
All right, that's okay.
Okay.
We get the drift.
Okay, wheat, natural gas, crude oil. I make a scroll up and down. You can see the trades, what we're doing here. Okay, we're pretty active. Okay, it's not 113 trades, different trades, because what we do a lot of times at the beginning of the year is we'll buy 20% of something, 30% of something, 40% of something. So we may have 4 trades just in one stock or one commodity, but that's where we stand. So we're sitting around 10% for the year, not 46.
Joe, does that say 48 wins and 4 losses?
Yeah, but that's also the same thing. When you cash them in, if you bought it 3 times and you sold it out, okay, it looks like you had 3 winners or 4 winners. Okay, I mean, that's one position. So, you know, I wouldn't go by that. 48 and 4 is not accurate.
Okay.
Okay.
It's what the spreadsheet says. Still impressive.
It's less accurate. That's what I'm trying to say.
All right.
48 and 4. We maybe, maybe 20 and 4.
All right. Wow. Joe, and by the way,
we have losers in there. Okay, we haven't gotten out of those. Those are just, this P&L is based on those. Okay.
Yeah.
So think about that. We have some losers, and when we go cash them in, and hopefully we're going to navigate around them. But if we cash them in right now, they'll it would go right down.
Awesome. Joe, how do we sign up for your website, by the way? You keep talking about the group. What is that?
Group. This is the group. RNTR.trading. Okay. This is how you contact us. You go in, you plug in RNTR.trading. Risk of not taking risk. Okay. A lot of scammers a lot of copycats. You contact us, we don't ask you for money. Okay, we get back to you. We get back to you with a link, with an email, with an invite to the chat. That's how you know it's us. Nobody else. We're not day traders. We're not swing traders. We're not mirror traders. You hear any of this crap? We're not. We don't trade crypto. So people come into, some people that want to join us say, this is what we do. That's not us. Okay. People say, well, you direct message me. I don't direct message anybody. Okay. First of all, I wouldn't even know what to do. Okay. So that's another point there. Okay. We have an unbelievable team behind us that does all this. Get you on, get you signed up, get you ready to go. That's how you get in. This is what it costs. I'll show you what you get with it. Okay, this is what comes with, you can subscribe monthly by handle. You could quit anytime you want. Okay, you're not married to anything. Okay, we had someone this week that said it's a little too aggressive. It's kind of not like my style. Is there any way I could, quit? I don't want to be along this. No problem at all. I said, of course. This is not investing. This is trading. This is not passive trading. This is aggressive trading. That's how you make 300%. That's how you make 100%. That's how you make 20, 30% in a couple of weeks when you get things working. Okay? Different style. But if it's working, it might be worth it. What do you get with all this? We'll go to the chat. This is what you get with the chat. You get it on the radar. This is myself this morning talking about the markets. You can see all day talking about opinions. When I trade, I tell you what I'm doing. When I trade, I tell you exactly what I'm doing. Okay, and I do it ahead of time. Okay, not some of the, I see what goes on in some of these sites where the person who's running the site says, "Oh, I just sold all my FCX." He tells you after he sold it, and then everybody's selling it. I mean, come on. How about doing it as a team? We do it as a team. Okay, the example yesterday. Okay, I'm looking at my Pan American silver position. Okay, so if you have it on, you may want to look. You see what you want to do, and then I say, "Okay, guys, I'm going to sell it all." Okay. PPTA, but we wind up doing nothing. I tell everybody exactly what I'm doing. You're looking over my shoulder. I'm not suggesting, I'm not recommending, I'm not giving any kind of tips. I'm just looking over my shoulder and I'm telling you exactly what I'm doing. That's what we do there. If you want to trade futures, we trade a lot of futures, we trade a lot of commodities. Okay, trading cocoa, trading Kansas City wheat. Okay, we cashed out of our Kansas City wheat, natural gas, Chicago wheat, May sugar. Okay, a couple of things I want to bring to your point. Okay, look at that. It's 4:52 a.m. New York time. Okay, you want to start trading commodity futures? Well, if you want to look like this, that's what's going to happen. You got to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. You got to get 5 o'clock in the morning. Do it. Go back to sleep. And there's an old saying. I had the best teachers on the planet. You can always sleep. You can't always make money. And that's what we do. And sometimes you got to get up in the morning. I'll get you up. I give you the alerts. You don't have to do it. You don't have to get up. If you put it on your phone, you get the alert. You get up. So you know what? Looking to trade silver. You're looking to trade sugar. Could be silver too. This is what I'm going to do. I tell you what I'm doing. Go back to sleep. I don't go back to sleep, but someone else would.
So, Joe, so I want to connect the dots here.
Go ahead.
Your website is RNTR.trading.
Yes.
I go there. I pay for a membership, but let's just say I want to sign up for a month, $98. You take PayPal, credit cards.
All that stuff, yeah.
Okay.
That's all the back office guys. I got a serious team.
Okay.
They know how to do all that stuff.
And you said you've got some security measures in place so we don't get the...
User-friendly.
Fair enough. So after I pay my $98, you're going to give me access to this Discord channel.
Discord chat.
And this is where the rubber hits the road. This is where you're going to tell me what you're doing.
Okay. I just showed you about futures. I showed you about trade alerts. You only got to listen to me if I'm trading. I tell you what I'm doing. You get comments all day. You got Q&A all day. Okay. Everybody going back and forth with questions. A general chat. People go back and forth and they're chatting back and forth. We implemented bots into our RNTR last year. So if you're a bot trader, a young man named Joseph, that's why I call it Joe Bot, created an algorithm, made over 100% last year. Trading bots. Let me tell you something. I know we did 300 and something percent. I actually think 100% in bots is more of an achievement than what we did. That's serious stuff, trading bots. Knows his stuff, has his parameters. I'm just going to give you examples. I'm not enough to show you. These are examples. Okay, you know what you're putting in. You know the weight you're putting in. You know where you're getting in, getting out, the loss, trailing stops. Trade this. These are the alerts that come out. Do the math. You made 100% last year. Pretty damn good.
All right, Joe. So here's the thing. I pay my money. I get access to the Discord. And just bring me back to Discord. Give me an example of something that you gave out today or yesterday, something like that. Well, anything. Just pick something.
Yesterday. This is my morning comment.
Okay.
My morning comment. But yesterday,
Pick anything.
Okay. Pan American Silver.
Okay, so yesterday at 3:28 in
328.
the afternoon,
I have a position on a Pan American Silver.
and you notified everybody in the Discord
Listen, guys,
that
I'm
you're
looking at it. I'm looking at it.
Okay.
So if you happen to have it, then you want to look at it if you're interested. And then there's like a minute or 2 minutes in between, whatever, because it's on my radar. And then I say, okay, guys, I'm selling it, and that's what the price is trading at when I sell it.
Okay, so that's what that number is down there. Is you
that's
basically
that's where it's printing, literally, when I say I'm selling it.
okay. Now I'm not obligated to do what you're doing, right?
You do what you want. I'm just telling you what I'm doing.
So I'm looking over your shoulder.
I'm telling you to prepare you. So if I said, listen, I'm selling Pan American Silver, and then I put it up there, it's too late. It's it's sold already. How about working as a team?
Yeah,
as a team.
I've seen those websites, Joe. They tell you on Wednesday what they did on Monday.
You're really what a team member you are.
Yeah.
You're a team member when you take that money.
So, Joe, we have a few minutes that I want to get back and answer some more viewer questions, but here's the conundrum that I want to throw at you. We have someone in the room who's complaining if these guys really knew what they were talking about, they wouldn't be giving it away, and another person saying that spending $100 to get this stuff is not worth it, right? So people are arguing both sides of it. I don't understand.
You can do it yourself. You're right. Why would you pay $100?
Right.
But can you do it yourself? You know how you can decide that? Did you make 300% last year? Did you make 100% the year before? If you did that, you're right. Why would I pay somebody $98 when I could do it myself? But if you're getting bounced around, or if you become uncomfortable trading, which I can pretty much say with confidence that our group has not been uncomfortable trading in these crazy markets in the last few years. Well, last few years, and we're doing this 6-7 years, positive returns. Okay, one down year in 7. Okay, that's also something else. So if you can do all that, I wouldn't pay anybody either. But if you can't do that, or you want to make it easy, or you don't want to do the work and just look at the trade alerts, which a lot of people do, they don't want to look at me and listen to me. I don't even want to look at me and listen to me. Okay, they just want to see the trades that I'm doing. You can do that. The other way was, you said it's not worth it, and what was the other side?
The other side of the coin was, why would you be giving this information away? Who are you?
I'm nobody. I'm retired from Goldman Sachs a long time ago. I've been a teacher since. I enjoy teaching. And when I stopped teaching, my students are the ones, why wouldn't you show you had I had the best teachers on the planet. So I'm passing it along to my students. They said, why wouldn't you pass this along everywhere? So I enjoy teaching. That's why we do it here. You think $98 isn't making a difference in my life? You gotta be kidding me. Okay, this pays everybody else.
I love it, Joe. So as you know, people love your videos. They love your live streams.
Keep you posted.
Yeah, and this is a great thing you're doing here for people. Can we spend a couple more minutes, Joe? I know you got to get going. Can we spend a couple minutes looking at some more?
More questions on
please.
Yeah. Okay, so you know where we stand, guys. Here we go. I want to look myself.
All right. Can we look at soybeans?
Soybeans, yeah. Soybeans that's what triggered this grain move. Okay? We made a video down here. We said this is the spot in soybeans. And then the president said he had a tentative agreement with China, and it exposed the sensitive side, the way we talk about things. So what happened? Beans went up. And what did we say after that? We said the grain sector was too cheap, and the rest of them are going to start to go. So soybeans led the way, and we still think they're going to go higher. And now you got wheat following, and wheat starting to go higher. And we think wheat's a very different market than soybeans, and people better strap in if they're going to start to trade wheat. So that's the opinion. So that's what we think soybeans. We said, if go look, whenever this was what, beginning of the year, we made a video. Said if soybeans was the cheapest grain around, incredible value, and then fine, you got a little news. But then, you know what? Many times you get news and nothing happens. It's a dud. This wasn't a dud because this was the sensitive side.
Joe, can you do ExxonMobil real quick?
XOM. This is something that was our cash cow for 2 years, and now it's popped on the upside, so we don't do it. We've traded the range in ExxonMobil. It's blown out of its range. And these oil stocks are incredible because you're talking about $65 oil. You see this move? Okay, we traded this, and we made about 50 points trading in a 20-point range all year last year, trading ExxonMobil. Okay, and it wound up going nowhere, and then it's gone straight up. This looks like oil's $100. Oil is $65. It shows how effective these oil companies are at making money. And you know who brought that to our attention? Guy Adami. Guy Adami, who belongs to the group, on Thursday does a live webinar. He's been telling us this for a year and a half. He says these oil companies, they become so efficient, they can make money if oil's 50, they can make a lot more money if oil's 60 or 70. Oil's not exploding. Look at that. Perfect example.
Joe, you just said something a minute ago that might be a little confusing. You said you made 50 points
Yes.
on this thing, and yet it looks like it's been sort of even to me.
We thought oil. We had a saying last year: oil's in a range, metals are on a mission. So every time oil got cheap in the mid 50s, we bought oil, and we bought ExxonMobil, we bought gasoline, and then it bounced, and we traded because we didn't think there was anything more to it, and we did it so many times. Kept taking 4, 5, 6 points out of ExxonMobil. By the end of the year, ExxonMobil did nothing on the year. It's kind of almost where it started, and we took 50 points out by taking 4, 5, 6 points out. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, well, probably about 10 times last year, where we took 4 or 5 points out of ExxonMobil. Now it's blown out, so there's no more range trading. Okay, but it can be done, and we had a strong opinion. You go look at any of our videos, any of our lives. All we did last year was say oil is in a range. I don't know if oil's in a range anymore, but it was there, so you can take advantage of it.
Joe, how did you know? Because I've seen your videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
I saw you buying ExxonMobil at 107 and selling at 115 and back and forth. How'd you know which numbers to buy and sell at?
Well, we use the little tricks or the little nuances that I was taught how to do it, but also you got to have conviction that you're in a range. So if we're in a range, and I was taught how to read future spreads. I traded the oil markets, for 30-something years. Okay, and I understand gasoline, heating oil, crude oil pretty well. And we had the largest oil book on the planet when I was at Goldman Sachs. So you're forced to learn. You're throwing in 50 feet of water with no swimmies on. I believe I had no swimmies on. So you learn how to trade. Okay.
Okay. What's a swimmy?
Swimmy? It's to hold you up, and I don't think they make swimmies big enough to hold me up in water.
Okay, Joe.
Swimming my size is good.
I totally get it.
It's gonna look like the Sphere in Vegas.
Let's do copper, Joe, if you can, please.
Copper. Now, copper is one I think you got to watch yourself. The world is super bullish in copper. I'm not. I think copper is caught a little long. Okay. Now, copper had a great story. This was one of the largest commodity moves ever until silver had that move this year and grinded. And then the story came out that, it's a great story in copper. It's the same thing. Get me in. I don't want to miss this. Right back down. And I actually think the copper market is still, I like the story, but I think it's crowded. And I think you got to watch yourself, because if there is a breather, I think copper could go lower. I would buy copper if it got lower. I like copper. I just don't like it now, because I think the scenario or the position of the market is a little too crowded for me.
So, Joe, if I can't trade futures, which copper's one of the futures, right?
Yes.
If I can't trade futures, do I have a way to get exposure to it?
I always try to find equities, because first of all, if you're trading futures, you're talking about going from the right lane on the highway to the left lane and times that speed limit by 2, okay? Because it's highly levered, moves fast, very different markets. So I try to find equities. There's a few that there are no equities that give you exposure. But if I want to trade copper stock-wise, I would look at Freeport-McMoRan, FCX, or TECK, which is another way of getting copper exposure. Same thing with gold and silver. I have easily a dozen each in gold and silver. There's a dozen oil stocks I could trade. So I try to find those.
Okay, Joe, we have about 2 minutes left,
Yeah.
and again, I'm sorry to do this. Can you do natural gas again? A lot of latecomers, they missed the early natural gas discussion.
I like natural gas a lot down here. Okay, and if you remember, we put this on. We made a whole video about this. Guys, this is a curveball, something that I was taught decades ago. I recognized the curveball. I said, natural gas is going to move fast. Look what happened. And then we waited, and now it's in the area again where I like natural gas a lot. I've been buying natural gas this week. I've been buying UNG this week. I think that what's the sensitive side again is the upside again. Now, there's no weather anymore. This was a little bit of a perfect storm, but I think the downside here is very limited. I like natural gas. I've been buying, like I said, UNG, and I bought April natural gas futures down around here. I still might buy a little more.
All right, Joe, you gave me a warning beforehand that we got to get out of here.
Yeah.
Everybody loves your videos. Everybody loves the live stream. And again, shout out to everybody on TikTok who sort of chased away the trolls and sort of told the truth about what Joe's doing. Joe, we love seeing you. We love listening to your stuff. We love watching your videos on YouTube and on TikTok, the replays on Instagram and on X. We love it all. When are we going to see you live again?
Tomorrow at 10:30. Okay, 10:30 on Saturdays, hands down, our busiest. It's a theater. We have tens of thousands of people that one way or another get on. Okay, we go through everything. What's important is we go over what passed in the week and what's setting up for the week. And we have an interesting setup. Last Saturday, we had a big setup because we knew we had a shortened week, and we knew China was celebrating New Year's. This year, this week, it's a big difference because now everybody's back. And what do you got? What jumps out? So that's what we're going to look at what's set up this week, which we talked about silver to give you one. There's a few of them that should set up nicely for next week. So you might want to watch tomorrow. We got a few nuances that we'll mention with the group. If you want to join the group, that's what. If you belong to the group, we're a team. So we go over everything. If you want to do it this way, Saturday we'll give you a peripheral view of what we're looking at tomorrow.
Okay, and just real quick, for folks who are on TikTok, if you want to subscribe to Joe's YouTube channel, it's at RNTR.trading. If you just go over and search RNTR.trading, you'll find Joe's channel. You can go over there and subscribe, watch the videos over there if you can't find them on TikTok. We're also on X. We're also on X and on Instagram if you want to take a look at us over there. Joe, tomorrow morning, we will see you at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, live and in person, right here from the RNTR studios.
We'll be here on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Okay?
Excellent. Thank you, Joe.
Which will was that? You say WIL or Will Gas Rating?